you are divine and you are conscious and you get all the cattle on the hills. And divine consciousness will guide your footsteps. You have to be willing and you got to show up. And then it will happen. Guaranteed. It's a law. It has to.
Alrighty, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Legendary Love Day 3 of our free online event. I'm Gina DeVee. We're here with my husband, Dr. Glenn A. Sisk, and we are so excited to see who is here. Let us know where you are zooming in from. Drop it in the chat on Zoom. We always love seeing our global community and seeing where you are zooming in from, and rounding it out with some really, really rich content here on day 3. You have done so great being here. Who's been here for days 1 and 2? Drop it in the chat as well. If you haven't been here for days 1 and 2, you can definitely get the recording. So be on the lookout for those replay mailers that are coming your way. And today we are going to be building on what we've started so far. And in day 1, whether in case you're with us or not, we really took a look at what it so deeply means to be there for yourself and to not be invisible, particularly in relationship. We discussed other things too, but this is a recap. Yesterday, we got into the different types of communication styles and the way you might be self-abandoning in communication when it comes to relationship. And today we're going to be talking about the components of a healthy, thriving relationship. And in any area of our life where we feel discouraged, defeated, like we've tried it before, we can tend to get really, really serious about rolling up our sleeves and having at it again. And I want you to know that from universal law perspective, from a spiritual perspective, from a life perspective, from a queen perspective, this isn't meant to be a, arched eyebrow, crinkled forehead, serious endeavor. I want you to open your heart. I want you to drop your shoulders. I want you to, dare I say, put a smile on your face. I want you to approach this in a lighthearted way, because the truth is, you're not going to manifest anything that you love from this scared, fearful, we call it serious, but slightly angry, and did I say fearful place. If it's not fun, your vibration is going to be lower. If there's doubt just filling your vortex, it's going to be a lot harder for you to magnetize. If you have beliefs that it doesn't work for you, first of all, find another way to feel special in the world. But then you're just going to see that it's not going to work for you. And absolutely how you approach this, I want you to cling on to any mustard seed size faith that you can muster up, because faith is the evidence of things not seen. And if you approach this from a place of gratitude, that yes, this is still available for you, and this desire in your heart hasn't gone away. If you approach this from a place of love and worthiness, that, you know what, I haven't manifested what I've desired so far, but I'm still here and I'm not giving up. And I'm so grateful that I still get another chance at it. You're going to see that love just exude out, and it's going to feel more fun. If you approach it with, you know what, I am not giving up, all things are possible, then you're going to start to see all right, I'm tapping into unlimited possibility for myself. There's so much that we actually do have control over. And we forget that. We forget it when we're depressed. We forget it when we're tired. We forget it when we've told ourselves that we're blocked, that we're lack, we can't have it. It's going to take so long. It's going to be so hard. all of that mentality, if you have any of it, I should say it this way, it's like approaching your legendary love endeavor with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brakes. And that's just exhausting and expensive. And so I don't want that to be the case for you at all. All of us get to begin again in every moment. All of us get to open our hearts and say, okay, you know what? I have no idea how this could happen for me, but God does. I have no idea what actually needs to shift or change, but at least I'm going to do everything that I know inside me to not be the one blocking what I so desire. And I got to tell you, an open mind and an open heart clears the pathway for miracles. Can I get an amen in the chat there? Like when we aren't walking through life hunched over, forehead scrunched, like in anxiety or depression or fear or boredom or avoidance, there's all kinds of possibility. And doesn't it just even feel better to dwell in possibility? I mean, your brain, if you're anything like me, the things that we're looking to manifest, but that we feel defeated in, it is amazing that we cannot see with the physical eye smoke coming out of our ears with the amount of churning, spinning. Like, give that beautiful brain of yours a break, because your best thinking is not your best asset here. Your best thinking got you here. And I know this from my own life as well. Our best thinking is our conditioning. And until we change our thoughts and change who we're being and change what we're tolerating and change our belief system, we are only going to get the same thing. There's something that I am looking to manifest in my life. And I have been, I'm going to use conscious language here. I think challenge is still an accurate word. I have been challenged in this particular manifestation for a number of years now. And I have created a story that I am confused about the situation because I have no idea what to do. And I felt that same level of brain mush that goes on. Like I'm literally thinking about it too hard. Like I just like my brain just became mush. Well, thankfully, I do have a non-negotiable meditation practice. And I woke up today, and believe me, this applies to manifesting your legendary love. I woke up today and I said, what if I was unavailable to be confused on this particular thing? And that's all, I was like, God, that's all I've got today. That is like, I am like, I'm working, I'm like working for to save my life, to not drown in all of the stinking thinking of like all of the same old thoughts. And I was like, I am just going to be open to not being confused about not knowing what to do with the situation. So I go into my meditation. And what beautifully came to me, thank God I didn't have to think it up because it wouldn't have thunked this up from the old program. What came to me was, Gina, you are not going to have clarity from the place that you're in right now. And like what Glenn has been talking about, you know, like we are not going to get the new manifestation from the old level of consciousness. And I know that we know this concept, but isn't it always so blissful? It's like a physical body cleanse when you actually apply spiritual principle to your life. And so when I gave myself a break and I relaxed and I exhaled and I actually enjoyed the rest of the meditation, because I just basked in, dear God, change me, evolve me. Like I didn't need the result. I didn't need to know how it was going to work out. I didn't even need the outcome. because I was so clear on, I keep trying to get a new result from the same thinking, the same thoughts, the same way of being. So if you too have exhausted yourself with your own thoughts, morning, noon, night, 2 a.m., you know what I'm talking about. I want you to know that God sees your heart. I want you to know that your desire for legendary love, it is real. And when you drop being in fear, being in your masculine energy, thinking that you need to be the one to figure it all out, and instead open up to being connected with God in the universe, and so fully being available to receive from a feminine place, that gets to be your only job right here, right now. So I want you to be open to receiving what Glenn and I have for you for the rest of the day. Or the rest of the day also, but for the rest of our time here together. And I want you to really, really let this in. This is not only possible for you, this is meant for you. Baby love?
I got an idea. Let's all spin on I am, I can, I will. Let's just, just change your mind. Change your mind to change your life. And y'all know, we all know, all of us know what it's like. There's not enough money. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm never going to have a boyfriend. I'm never going to have a girlfriend. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not good enough. You know, what does that feel like, right? You feel deflated, defeated. It takes courage to move out of the old way. It does take courage. And it feels really great. I mean, just as Gina explained, we've dedicated ourselves to daily meditation. It's changed our lives completely. And man, I was a mess. I thought I was all cool and got it together and, been at this a long time. Yeah, Glenn, how many times a day did you meditate, or a week or a month? Well, not a lot, not enough, not at all. But started that practice, and trust me, it's there for you. You get to go to the Father's office, and up there, the possibilities and the potentials are unlimited. And it starts in your heart. Just have a loving heart, and that heart will move the energy up to the frontal lobe, and you'll be connected. And then you ask for whatever you desire. Whatever you desire, you ask, because the potential is there for you, and it will come true. His will be done. It's just the law. So instead of I'm defeated, how about I'm courageous? Just flip it. Just go to the positive side of it and just repeat it over and over and over again, because then it'll turn into a new belief, and that'll get rid of the old belief. And it's that simple. It's not complex, but it takes courage, and it takes a few minutes out of your day. But the rewards are unbelievable. This legendary love that Gina and I have, which we truly do. I mean, we honestly look at it as being legendary. It's a blessing. It's been work. There's lots of things that we had to learn to get to where we are today. And there was, one step begets another step, begets another step, begets another step. And all of these things that we'll be teaching in the class, we've just given you a peekaboo. There's a lot more content and a lot more experiments and a lot more in the moment meditations that we've been working on that are going to take you all to where you desire to be. Not where I desire you to be, where you desire to be, whether it's improving a relationship that you're already in, whether it's finding the soulmate of your life. It is all not only possible, it's already out in the universe as a potential. Your mate is already there, guaranteed, already there. You just got to get prepared to meet that mate, to meet that soulmate. And that's what this class is all about, is getting prepared. You know, like many times in the Esther experience and Queen Esther, I mean, she sat in the spa and just, you know, was dotted over, you know, just a beautiful story. And the same thing for us, you know, we just have to be in our Father's presence and enjoy what he has to give us.
Mhm. One of the really beautiful things that Glenn is opening up here is that this journey of becoming and this journey of evolving, you are already worthy. It's not that you yourself need to change. However, you yourself, if you have not manifested what you desire yet in terms of love, need to evolve. And we all have the areas for us to evolve in life. There are some categories that we can have a little more control over, shall we say. If you want to lose weight, though I do think that's a spiritual journey also, on a certain level, you can consume less calories, you can consume healthier food, you can move your body in certain ways, and you can kind of be in charge of the shape and the size of that body. To a degree with business, you can pound the pavement, you can dial for dollars, you can move it matter to matter, and you can go and get some clients, sell some products, make some money. The compassion that I have for people in the School of Love is, if you think you have control over what, when, where, what, how, when, the way your soulmate is going to come to you, or the way that your partner is going to have his own aha moment and his own transformation of showing up for you in a way that is so impactful and meaningful, you can't control men in the same way. You can't control the divine in the same way. Here's what you can be in charge of to have a fulfilling relationship. You get to be in charge of your connection with the divine. Because as you are preparing you, and I know you think that you've done it all, the soulmate's not there. If the marriage hasn't transformed, there's more to do. So let's just move past that. If it's not there yet, the divine has the answers. And the divine is not controllable. You don't get to say, I always say, God makes a lousy assistant. I've fired God so many times, does not show up when I want, how I want, where I want, not at all. But you know what, how God does show up for me? Beyond my wildest dreams. I could never, there isn't a vision board in the world that could have had all of the glorious components of exactly who Glenn needed to be the perfect match for me. I couldn't have thunk it up. There weren't enough lists to make. There wasn't enough things that I could do or control. I had to come from such an open-hearted place of desire. I had to develop myself in such a way that I raised my standards. I created non-negotiables. I had clarity about the type of man that I was calling in, this king of a man. I had to have enough self-confidence and be intact with my self-worth. Say, I want a man who's gonna claim me, who's gonna initiate, who's gonna be so great at being a man and being in the empowered masculine. Like, these were the things that I had to bring into my consciousness and cultivate so that this relationship could be my reality. And I wrote about our love story in the book, so I'm not going to tell that whole story here, but the way Glenn and I went on our first date, how we met, the whole thing, not only could I have planned, I wouldn't have. Like if it were up to me, I would have been like backstage at an Aerosmith concert, 1995. Like, I mean, like Gina had such other plans.
For those rock stars.
Well, Steven Tyler wasn't the loser anyways. So the point is, there was like nothing I would have created that I would have actually wanted. But my devotion to just knowing that a king of a man was available for me and trusting God with my dream, that my list wasn't Glenn, and everything about who Glenn is and isn't, by the way,
Except
what?
for what really mattered. And this is how God shows up. He knows, God knows what's best for you. And you need to show up and really dream big, because Gina's consistent and persistent. When she desires something, I've seen her, like she's spinning, and she's spinning in a good way. She's not going to put up with anything less than what she desires. And to dream about how your love shows up is the beginning of that 3-part that I talked about. Believing every day, believing every day, a new way, every day. Take 10 minutes. What do you believe about who this person is that's going to show up? And then you start behaving in that way. You present yourself in a way that is a queen, that your man who's already out there, or your woman, your partner is already out there. And then you become, and there you have it, over and over again. It's not a one-time event. You can't do it for a week and then go, oh, it doesn't really work. I'm not going to. Well, where's your faith? There's got to be faith. There's got to be courage. And there will be joy. There will be a smile on your face. You will love yourself for who you are. And your mate will also love you for who you are. That's the beauty of this kind of love that we're talking about. Behave. Like believe. I would sit here for an hour, and that would be the most important thing if I just said it over and over and over again for an hour. And through, like, what are you going to believe? What are you going to believe? Believe. What are you going to believe? Because that's what it actually takes, a repetition. That's why you believe that you're not worthy, because you've believed it for so long and you've spun on it for so long that it's become part of who you are. But that's not really who you are. That's not what the divine consciousness wants for you. I want to understand that you are divine. And you are conscious, and you get all the cattle on the hills, and divine consciousness will guide your footsteps. You have to be willing, and you got to show up, and then it will happen. Guaranteed. It's a law. It has to.
And it doesn't happen in the way you thought. There's a private client that I work with, and we do marriage counseling or coaching, and this couple has been together for decades, and the divide between them started out like the Grand Canyon, and they really didn't think that there was any real hope of transformation, but they decided to give marriage coaching a try. And over the course of the time together, being available that a miracle was actually possible, that change could take place. And this wasn't like an airy-fairy idea. This was learning very specific communication techniques that we teach in our course. This was learning individual personal responsibility and then applying it to the relationship also that we teach in the course. This was really having the courage to communicate and confront issues that literally would just be easier just to go get divorced and start all over again. But this beautiful couple has had it in them, holding on by a string day after day and week after week applying healthy techniques and principles and communication to their long-term marriage that was all but done. And I had a session just before this with one of them, and she was just like, wow, I can't believe how far we've come and how much has changed. And there were circumstances that had been brought into their lives during our time together she could never have planned up. She could never have thought up, and she could never have known those circumstances were going to happen. And that's what God was going to use so that there could be a healing, that there could be a transformation. But I can promise you this, when you show up with that open heart and you do what you know to do, that is where you see the miracles. That's where you see the transformation. That's where you've calmed your mind enough so that you actually do start to become open to the different possibilities. The level that we get locked into, like this is the way it always has been and this is the way it's always going to be, that is what is sucking the life out of your dream of having this legendary love. And when you start to open up to the different possibilities, to a different viewpoint, to something else being possible for you, and to actually use your words to declare power and victory over your life, you start to hear things differently. You start to make the connections. For those of you that are in relationship, you start, rather than avoiding it and working or just focusing on the kids, start to shut the computer off earlier. You start to set different boundaries with your children. You start to go on date nights, prioritize the relationship, actually have the space to see how love can come forth and evolve and grow in ways that you may have just thought was dead and gone. So there's all kinds of ways and all kinds of reasons that we can logically justify giving up on the dream, giving up on the time frame, giving up on you're too old, it's too late for you, it's just meant for someone else. But you're here for a reason, so I know that you haven't given up.
Yeah, I think it's important to ask yourself some questions. Do you know the foundations of creating intimacy in a relationship? Do you know what the steps are? There's an action, there's a way that it happens, and we've given you a few examples. Do you have self-love? Do you love yourself? And if you don't, do you know how to start loving yourself? Again, these are things that Gina and I had to go through. Because we had a desire. I would tell you that how our relationship came together, I was done. Like I said before, I was done with relationships. I'm sure there are many men that have said that before, but I was enough. It's just, I don't know how to do relationships. I'm not going to do a relationship again. I don't ever want to go through this again. And then out of the blue, Gina DeVee shows up and is like, loves me, like unconditionally. Oh, I'm sorry, conditionally. For you that weren't here yesterday, Gina has a little thing about conditional love. But it's really saying the same thing. And we've learned so much more as a result of being together and wanting to develop a relationship that we both are joyous in and have fun in, and we're not bored and we're not judgmental. There's a path. And if you take that path and bring in the furniture into your home, the stuff that you want to use and the stuff that works for you, then you're going to have what you desire, whatever that is. I think one of the that happens in the process also is that you learn how to connect to the divine. It's very important to know how to do that. That's just, maybe you'd be on a donkey and the bolt of lightning strikes you and all of a sudden you become enlightened. Not likely, but that's possible. But it's a learned process. And that's part of having this legendary love, having this relationship that you're joyful in and having a good time and really are intimate with your partner.
So speaking of the path, I want to show you what you're going to get in this course. And then we're going to take some questions from you too about where you're at with your particular relationship dynamics. So Glenn and I have really taken a look at what is the roadmap to us having this legendary love, and where did it start, and how has it been so stable over 2 decades? So we've talked a lot here about week 1 is going to be worthy of love. We start July 10th, and diving in so deep, like I don't know anyone that's really coming to things like this. It's like, I don't love myself. I hate myself. But I got to tell you, there are layers and layers and layers. And if you have not manifested the love of your life, there is something in you that does not believe that you are worthy of it. What we experience in our outer life is a demonstration of what we believe that we are worthy of. End of story. That's just quantum physics 101. So the things that I'm looking to manifest in my life, I know that step 1 is I have to be so much more conscious and worthy of receiving that in my life. So that's what we're going to go dive super deep into on week 1. Week 2, unlocking your beliefs about men. This stuff is so sneaky. I mean, look, I was trying to get married. Like, it was like everywhere I went, I was looking, is he the one? Is he the one? Is he the one? If you would have asked me what you think about men, I would be like, I love them. And then when I did the work that you're going to do, and I really looked into my subconscious, and what did I really believe? I believed that men were weak, that they weren't there for me, that they were for others, but not me. I didn't feel like I could trust them. Like, there was like all this stuff actually came out. Now, I didn't want to believe these things, and I didn't even think these things. But when you get honest with your belief system, well, what man wants to be with someone that doesn't trust him, thinks he's weak, you know, like all of that. So that had to get transformed, and it very likely does in you as well. Week 3, one of my favorites, master the masculine and feminine dynamics in relationships. Women being overly masculine in relationship is a killer to the chemistry, to the dance, to the art. And even to this day, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be with a man who will not allow me to be masculine in the relationship. I can be masculine in my job, my work, and my life. But Glenn, do you want to share about that? Like, when I even attempt to take the lead, initiate, suggest the better route to take to the market, like my man is unavailable for my masculinity in the relationship.
You got to know what you're good at. Gina's not good at, and nor she should. I'm not going to say nor she should be, but it's not really a requirement for our relationship for her to be good on directions. Now, she does have some intuition sometimes, and will say, you know what, well, maybe you should be turning there. And, you know, that happens. It's kind of a silly example, but more importantly, though, we hold our spaces, our individual masculinity and femininity very well with one another. And Gina does really well in the business world, and other aspects of her life with the masculine is necessary. But I'll also say, you know, we're not doing workaholicism here. You know, we're not going on until 9 o'clock at night. We have a relationship that we are going to continue to nurture. And that means that computer is closed at 6 p.m. That, when I first met her, that was her deal. Like, she was, you know, yes, her experience was her love. And it was like, well, there's a new king in town, and his name's King Glenn. And that computer, I would ask you, please. And I didn't say it like, all right, you're closing that computer at 6 p.m. and that's it. It's not how I said it. What I said is, and because now again, there was experience, right? I said, I've been in a relationship where it was all about work. I mean, we were great business partners, but we didn't really have an intimate relationship. And that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is to have intimacy with you. And that means we need time. And after 6 o'clock, I would appreciate it if you would close the computer so that we can spend time together. Now, what woman is going to say, yabba yabba do, I'm all in on that one? You know, I mean, if she's in her feminine, right? And I'm in my masculine. So we just recognize that with one another. And it, you know, because there's many times that the masculine has to hear the feminine. You know, there's a kindness and an earthiness about women that sometimes they just know better. I've said for a very long time, women need to take over this planet. You know, they actually need to be running the government, you know, because I think they have a sense of nurturing that is very powerful. And so I do listen to her, and that previous to her, it was like, really, come on, you don't really know what you're talking about, you know? So I think that said enough there.
Yes. Discover the power of harmonized masculine and feminine energy dynamics to feel safe, seen, and heard in your relationship. You know, one of the reasons why Glenn and I don't lock horns in our relationship very often is because he's so great at being in the empowered masculine, and I have evolved in the empowered feminine areas. And so they become so compatible. We're not stepping on each other's toes, taking over different parts of the relationship. And it's just a really beautiful dance that keeps the chemistry alive.
But
okay.
we did have moments in the beginning where I was a little bit controlling, like a whole lot controlling sometimes, and Gina wasn't going to have it. She put it right in my face. Well, how do you navigate through that? That's part of what we're doing here. We want to teach you how to do that, because there's a proper way, a great way to do it. Like, she didn't like say, all right, that's it, I'm never going out with you again, I'm done with you, it's over, because you're acting the same way that all the rest of the rock stars acted, and I'm not going to do that, so bye-bye. She didn't say that. She gave me the opportunity to, number one, apologize once I realized what had happened. And then we got back on the line. That's part of not putting any bricks in the wall. Like, you got to get to it. It's going to be painful. It was painful for me. I don't know if it'll be painful for you. It was painful for me because it was like a total upheaval of what I had known in the past. And now I'm learning something new that has continued.
Week 4, vision of love. Clarity is key. Create the expectations of your desired relationship so that you can confidently manifest it. You know, this piece that Glenn was talking about, for both of us, when something didn't match the vision, right? If I did feel like I was being controlled, or if he didn't feel like he was being considered, both of us were so clear on our vision for relationships. So then we advocate for our vision. So we're going to help you get so clear, and then also clearly communicate that as well. Week 5, becoming the vibrational match. That's where it's at, ladies. Learn how to call in love or transform the love that you have by being what you desire, not wanting the other person to come in and save you, fix the situation. When so oftentimes, you know, women will come to me and whatever that, like, I can't believe he did this, I can't believe, you know, I'm with a narcissist, this, that, the whatever the dynamics are. And it's more about, if you're a queen, who and what dynamics are the vibrational match of a queen. And so there's so much power, so much opportunity for transformation that we've got coming for you in week 5.
And you know, ladies, you can smell it a mile away, but then something in you says, well, maybe he's different, or, you know, maybe this person's different. You know from the very beginning, it smells familiar. This is not going to be a good thing. And then you forget about it. That's what you need to be paying attention to. You need to be aware and understand the knowledge that you have as a result of your past. So here's a good thing, because I talk about, you got to get rid of the past. But what happens is when you learn from your past, it becomes wisdom. It no longer affects you, but it becomes wisdom, because that little devil, he's showing some stuff. I've seen that before. I know what's going on there. This is not going to work. I'm just going to cut it off right here. Right? So being in touch with that and being in tune with your heart and who you are and your intuition, because women have amazing intuition. Pay attention to it. We're going to teach you how to do that.
Week 6, conditional love. It's all about boundaries. A relationship with a lack of boundaries and no boundaries, that is an unhealthy, icky, sick relationship. So having clear, clean, strong boundaries, expectations, standards in your relationship, I am so excited to teach you how to have conditions for your love that you will be literally in love with, and it'll save the relationship as well. You know, add to my conditional love week, baby.
I've already made my statement on that one.
All right. Week 7, letting love in. Move past romanticizing about your dream love and get great at receiving it. Too oftentimes we have actually created what we wanted, called it in, and have been the ones to sabotage it. So getting great at receiving, it's something I wrote a lot about in my book, and it is the culmination of all these beautiful 7 weeks, all of the learning stacked on top of each other, all of the depth, week after week after week. You will not be the same on week 7 as you are on week 1, not in confidence, not in awareness, not on being able to openly receive, in your faith, all of it. So, my loves, get yourself registered. You can go to divineliving.com/legendary love. And the investment is $397, or there's a payment plan. A class starts July 10th. So get yourself on in. You're going to get a welcome packet. I saw those of you that signed up yesterday already filling out your welcome packets. Well done.
Right. Hold on. I don't have enough people to coach. So you have until 12 midnight, and I'm going to offer the same thing. Not all of you were here. So until 12 p.m. midnight.
All right.
You have a chance. That's PST. You have a chance to get a half an hour coaching session with me on whatever subject you want to talk about. And that's what I'd like to do.
All right. Generous, my king. So you'll get a 30-minute one-on-one free bonus coaching session with Glenn. You'll get your in-depth welcome packet, 90-minute live Zoom sessions, where unlike these where we don't have time to coach everyone live on Zoom, we'll be coaching you specifically on your relationship dynamics. You'll get a weekly workbook and access to the Facebook group. So again, go to divineliving.com/legendary love and get yourself in. This is going to truly be the summer of love, where we're just kind of like pulling back the curtains and really going behind the scenes of what we've learned to have such a beautiful love relationship, and do everything to support you in having the same for you. So divineliving.com/legendary love. Any questions you've got, go ahead and type them in the chat. We've got a few minutes left, and happy to take a few questions. In the meantime, I saw there was a request for this Sleeping Beauty. I know it looks like she's on Benadryl or something, but like this is just her 19 hours a day. Davina, did you want to say hi? Did you want to like even put on a good show at all? Or did you just want to keep cuddling? So yes, this is our new little addition. And I worked on this with my relationship dynamics to, relationships are, yeah, well, all right, Davina's out. So any questions about relationships? are you going to reserve it all for the class? Because we've got that for you as well. Anything that we've covered here on our 3 days, happy to take questions or any questions on the class itself. There'll be recordings. If you can't make the classes live, we totally get that. So replays for all of the classes will be sent out as well. All right, my darlings. Well, it has been such an amazing time being here with you. Thank you so much for showing up for your own dream, for not giving up on it. I know that is not easy. I've had many dreams of my own that I have to keep the torch lit and keep going and keep persevering and keep learning and keeping showing up in classes like these so that I'm immersed in the subject that I am so passionate about, and absolutely keeping the faith that the effort that I put in will create the manifestation. So come join us. Starts July 10th, divineliving.com/legendary.
There's a few questions. I'm going to answer them. How can a 20-year relationship revive? Only through love. And certain principles that must be followed. It can happen. This is good for single people. Yes, it's good for singles. Here's one. How do you bring up a topic when you feel you both need to address in your lives? For example, both needing to exercise and stay healthy together. Well, we teach you how to do that. You got to have a conversation. You got to be on the same page. You have to be intimate. That's what it's all about.
I want to jump into. Sorry, I didn't have my glasses
Here's
on.
Already signed up, but I'm curious about being in a space where you're taking a break from marriage. Could we also look at this? So in other words, she's taking a space of break from a marriage. Could we also look at this?
Yeah. So let me address whether you are looking to call love in a relationship, or in this case, taking a break from marriage. All of this, first of all, takes so much courage. Secondly, the class is about creating, manifesting, and receiving legendary love. So wherever you're at on your journey, we've very specifically designed this. This is not for one category of person. This is for the woman who hasn't given up on experiencing legendary love. So that's why these components, this is nothing about updating your dating app profiles. This isn't just about conflict resolution in a marriage that's not working. This is about all of the dynamics that are necessary for creating legendary love. So yes, you will be in a great place. So back to answering the question, this is one of my specialties of how can a 20-year marriage transform, I think was basically how can it be revived? Oh, honey. All right. So all of the marriage counseling that I used to do and marriage coaching, the number one thing that gave me physical evidence that God actually exists. So I grew up in a Christian environment. I believed in God and I believed in miracles. And it wasn't until I became a therapist and then a marriage coach that I saw the Spirit of God alive. Because in my own humanness, especially when I was a new therapist, I was like, what are these people coming to marriage counseling for? There's no hope. There's been this damage and this break and this betrayal and this heartache and this trauma. This is past the point of no return. But I was there to do the work, and they would keep showing up, and they taught me. And they showed me that when the spirit of potential is alive in humans, it is amazing to see how relationships transform. It does take two willing participants. I will say that. It can't be one person hauling the load. But when two people are open for change and transformation, these marriages that seem so far past the point of no return showed me the type of marriage that I would one day dream of being in. These marriages, you know how they say, and the weak will become strong. or how if you break your arm in a spot, and if it heals properly, it will actually be stronger in the spot that it was broken than another area that wasn't. That's what happened in these marriages. There was so much emotional intimacy. There was so much healing. There was so much depth in the listening and hearing and in understanding the other person, that a marriage that didn't have those same breaks didn't have the same level of depth. So don't get me started on how much I know to my core that it doesn't matter what a marriage has been through. It is revivable if there are two willing people and a great facilitator.
Belinda asked this, and Belinda, her question is: do all troubled relationships need to be revived? Can they not agree? Can they not agree to just go separate ways? I think, Belinda, you're actually, in my opinion, this might be the wrong question to be asking, because once you know yourself, and once you go through this class and understand who it is that you are, then you can really answer this question on your own. It may be time to go separate ways, or it may not, but not until you have the information to be able to make the right decision. Because let's say you go your separate ways, but you don't actually really heal what was actually going on, why you need to go your separate ways. Guess what happens? You go back and do it all over again. And you do it again and again and again until you come to the point where you say, no, I need to change. I need to change. And then everything outside of me will also change. It's amazing how it works.
Yes.
It is how it works. So you might want to just kind of reconsider looking at this question in a different way, Belinda.
It's not the Save Your Marriage or Relationship course, or that you even need to. It's really about who are you going to become in the process. Yeah. One of my other private clients that we're working on some marriage and relationship issues, and really wanted to leave the marriage, was like fed up, done, had it. And I said, you can leave now. I said, the only problem for you is whoever you get together with next is going to have the same dynamics going on, because you haven't changed yet. So I said, all the more reason that if you do decide to leave him, don't leave him yet, because you've got to change first. And so that's really what this course is about, is preparing everybody to be so true to themselves, so authentic about who do you desire to be in love, that you are unshakable, nothing can rock you with it. And then your rightful vibrational match will either come closer to you or fall further away. But that will take good care of you in the process, regardless of the outcome. This is about who you are becoming in the love relationship.
Change your mind, change your lives. That's the way it works.
All right, my darling. So divineliving.com/legendary love. Not only if you sign up today by midnight Pacific, you get a 30-minute private session with Dr. Glenn A. Sisk. You'll get registered in the class, you'll get the welcome packet, and you'll also get the early bird pricing. That price does go up. I forgot to mention that. Let me just do a quick check here for everybody. The regular rate is $697, and right now you get it for $397. And the regular rate goes into effect on June 23rd. That is Friday. So get in now, get yourself registered. You know you are going to love what you got out of this class. You're not going to be the same person in those 7 weeks. So come join us. We'll have lots of fun, and we'll love you all the way through it. Take care, everyone. God bless, and we'll see you there. Bye. Oh my goodness, how much did you love this conversation? Please go ahead and take a screenshot of this episode right now And I want you to tag me on Instagram and share with me what your biggest takeaway was. I love being in conversation with you, hearing from you, DM me. And I really love getting what is the one big takeaway that you got from this episode. Let me know on Instagram.